course, we've all heard that know, like, and trust factor is critical for making sales. In this video, I'm going to dive really deep into that trust factor because it is one of the most important pieces of making sales. So make sure you watch all the way to the end because I have some really practical tips that you can implement in your business to help establish that trust. Hey, I'm Tom Jacobs. Thanks for stopping by the channel. This is specifically for health and wellness practitioners or those heart-centered salespeople who want to get better at selling and make it not feel so salesy. So in this episode, we're talking about trust, so make sure you watch all of this video. You know, that's a really good question. What is heart-centered selling, and why is that important now more than ever? Well, especially for health and wellness practitioners, this isn't a one and done type of transaction. Typically, you're working with an individual over time to help them get better at whatever problem that they have that you are ultimately selling. And when I talk about heart-centered selling, if you're working with somebody over a long term, if you treat it just as a transaction, then it's probably not going to be for the long term. You want to have ideal prospects working with you and great clients working with you. And when you approach it from your heart, from a place of caring, you're going to come across as a very caring individual, but also you're going to create a much better relationship with that prospect that turns into a client. So if you're not using heart while you are in that sales conversation, you're probably losing out on sales. Trust is at the cornerstone of any sales conversation. And if your prospect doesn't trust you, then most likely they're not going to buy from you. And one way of creating that trust with your prospects is pretty simple. One, be honest with everything that you say. Don't make exaggerated claims that people are like, I'm not quite sure about that. Can I really trust that person? Especially if those exaggerated claims can be easily debunked. Most people have those little radars in their head that says, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Or it creates a little bit of a shadow of doubt, and that erodes the trust that you're trying to create with your prospect. And if you're eroding trust, you're not going to be making that sale. Another really great way of building trust in that sales consultation is always meeting and or exceeding the expectations of that prospect. And that can start from the moment that they learn about you, and maybe for you, you're learning about me on YouTube or Instagram, and you're seeing these videos. If I'm exceeding your expectations in the information that I give you, that is creating more trust and more likelihood that you will engage further with the content and ultimately lead to a sales call. It is the same for your own prospects. If you're making promises that you can't keep, that is one way of absolutely eroding that trust and not making the sale. The trust does not end at the sales conversation. Once you've made that sale and now that prospect is a client, that trust needs to keep building time after time after time. And that comes with being consistent with delivering the type of service that you've promised and over-delivering on that. And when you do that and you have that trust factor built up, when you're asking for referrals, asking for testimonials, you are building that business based on trust, and that's going to help you grow your business beyond your wildest dreams. In several of my videos, I've explained that customizing that sales presentation is critical for making that sale. One other reason for personalizing the sales presentation to the prospect is that it builds trust. It means that you were listening to what their problem was and then custom tailoring your presentation and your solution to meet that need. Nothing establishes trust more than that prospect having the feeling that this person is listening to me, they understand me, and now they're going to customize a solution just for me. So make sure you are always listening during your questioning phase, and then once you get to your presentation phase, you are customizing that presentation to meet the exact needs of that prospect, and you will build even more trust. Early on in my sales career, when I was selling an educational product, primarily online, I came across a prospect that was clearly not quite sure if this product and service was the right fit for him. And ultimately, I didn't want to push too hard because I could feel that resistance straight away. I kept nurturing that relationship by offering free resources that would ultimately help him with his business. And that establishes that trust factor. Ultimately, when he was ready to take it to the next level and actually get coaching and get a set system in place, guess where he went? He went to me because I had established that trust factor early on in the relationship. So when it came time to purchase, I was the only one he trusted, and so ultimately he bought from me. One of the best ways of developing trust in that sales conversation, and actually before the sales conversation even happens, is making sure that you have social proof or testimonials of why your program works for other people. Nothing establishes trust more than having social proof of somebody else talking about your product and service and how you help them solve the problem that they had. So if you're not getting social proof now as a way of developing trust in the marketplace, highly recommend you're getting some video testimonials, recorded testimonials, some way of showing others that what you do works and that you're the right person that they should put their trust in. I've got a really great resource for you that will help you double your sales in the next 6 months. And that is an exaggerated claim, I realize, but it is true. If you are struggling with sales and you want the 3 keys of making better sales conversations, then you want to download this resource straight away. The link is down below. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate a follow.